Back to throw goes Kyler. Throws a deep ball right side in the end zone, and it's caught. Touchdown, DeAndre Hopkins.
It is week 14 of Game Day View. Only 5 weeks left for your dreams or nightmares to come true. Ooh, that rhymed. Today we are picking every game, including Rams-Cardinals. Now, if they get snow and 50-mile-per-hour winds for this Monday nighter in Arizona, the score may be the least of our worries.
Brady has time. Blitz. Caught ball. Gronkowski. 10-5, 3-2-1. Touchdown, Tampa Bay.
We've also got the Bills defrosting in Tampa against Tommy, who's all of 32-2 in his career against Buffalo. No worries. Plus, Cynthia's individual player numbers and point totals for the biggest matchups. It's all right now on Game Day View, presented by Mercedes EQ. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Game Day View. I am Rachel Bonetta. That is Huck, Cynthia Freeland, Greg Rosenthal. I'd like to just shine a little attention on this right here. Before we talk about any games, let's talk about the Lions getting their first dub. Cynthia, number one fan, how does it feel?
You know, listen, this was great. The team actually looked happy.
Yes.
After the game, they honored all of the students that had a horrible situation happen in Michigan, which was an all-class move. So, listen, Honolulu Blue, they were wearing the great gray color block uniforms. It was
She's back on track, guys. I'm hearing it. She's back on the Lions train, baby.
Got a little misty in there.
Congratulations to Dan Campbell. He got the game ball. It was so much fun to watch Go Lions go. All right, we are breaking down every single game on the slate. Let's start with a doozy here. As if losing to the Pats wasn't bad enough for the Bills, this week they are taking on their old pal, Tom Brady, in Tampa. Bucks are favored by 3.5 here. Bills are thawing out a little bit. What do you like in this one?
I like the Buccaneers to win this one, 28-27, and I'm zeroing in on the rush defense for the Bills. They got pushed around on national television. They were clearly agitated by it. We've seen Poyer and Micah Hyde, not exactly excited in the post-game press conference. Unfortunately for them, they're facing the two best strategizers in the NFL in back-to-back weeks in Belichick and Tom Brady. Tom Brady, who has a 32-3 record against the Bills all time. So I see this going one of two ways. Number one, the Bills defense overcompensating for what happened on Monday Night Football and trying to stop the run so much they expose themselves in the pass game. Or Tom Brady saying, you know what, I really want to see you prove that you know how to stop the run when you're stacking the box with 10 defenders and can't keep us from getting a 10-yard gain.
Oof. Well, I have a 1-point win in this game for the Bucks. 26-25 is my score. I want to talk about missing Tre'Davious White. As in, we don't know what that looks like yet, which means Chris Godwin and this passing offense is going to have a really good opportunity to really show us all the different tricks that we know Tom Brady has up his sleeve. I don't know what to expect from the corners. Now, I know you talk about, Micah Hyde and Jordan Poyer. They're a great set of safeties. So they're maybe the best safety duo in the league, right? But without Tre'Davious White, that's going to be a much taller task.
Greg, what do you like?
I want to be different. I'm a little different. You guys are trying to thread the needle, put it under that 3.5 points. I have the Bucks winning by more than 3.5 points, and it's because Tom Brady, he does whatever is necessary. A week ago, with facing Atlanta, he threw it 13 straight times to start the game. This week, he'll look and see what's available, and I think it's going to be Leonard Fournette in the passing game. How about Leonard Fournette leading all NFL running backs in receiving? That was one of the big problems a year ago in keeping this Bucs offense moving, was he didn't have that James White-like check down that he had back in New England. Now he's got that. He's got answers to all the tests. The Bills can't take away everything, and one of the things I think they can't take away is going to be Fournette on Sunday.
All right, it all comes down to me, and I'm going, ow! Give me a lone bone, which
lone bone. She's embracing a lone bone.
Did you just howl for a lone?
I don't want that one. 31-28. Listen, you mentioned the 32-3. I think that the Bills have multiple chips on their shoulder. Okay, one is that Tom Brady is 32-3 against them. That is embarrassing. He can't keep doing this.
Wouldn't you think they'd have the chip at 31-3?
No,
that would have been the time they stopped.
No. The chip has grown. Okay, it's weighing down their shoulders. Their shoulders are bruised carrying this chip. The second chip is the Bills are upset after that pass loss. You mentioned those two safeties, Jordan Poyer and Micah Hyde, in that post-game press conference saying, like, oh, I'll remember this. They felt disrespected. I feel like they come out and they make a point. Do you really see this team falling to, what, 7 and 6?
Hope not.
That's crazy.
Yes, I do. See, that's why it says it has the Bucks logo at the bottom. Because like if you don't have the sound on, that way they know we're predicting 7 and 6.
I just don't see the 7 and 6. I'm still choosing to believe in the Bills, 31-28. All right, this next game, Cowboys pretty healthy again on offense. This week they take on a Washington football team that's won 4 straight games. Mike McCarthy boldly says that stops this weekend. Who do you guys got, Cynthia?
I mean, what's Mike McCarthy supposed to say there? No, you know what? Actually,
How
let's
about
just give it to
nothing?
them. Right.
How about
I mean,
nothing?
But it's,
I'll
I
get
don't know,
into
whatever.
it.
I have the Cowboys winning this one 26-25. But I do want to talk about Antonio Gibson because he has been the difference maker. If Antonio Gibson can get going and keep pressure away from Taylor Heineke, that would be how Washington actually does make it number 5. And, you know, McCarthy's going to have a whole bunch of problems then on his hands. But ultimately, that would be the difference maker. And I feel like we don't talk about him as being one of, like, the elitist elite. And he's really taken a huge step forward this year.
And even in the last month, he is doing everything for them. I'm always a little worried when the model has like a 1-point margin in a game that I feel very confident in. I think the Cowboys roll the Washington football team. I'm like feeling the Mike McCarthy confidence here. It's partly because of their defense going up against Heineke. Everyone loves the Heineke story. It's like, let's kill it with the Brett Favre comparison, shall we? It's like, Brett Favre wasn't talented, wasn't Brett Favre because he loved football and played, like, dangerously. It was because he was talented, and I don't see it with Heineke. This is the game against the Saints.
Whoosh.
When you are pressuring Taylor Heineke, he still keeps going for it. Like, that's why you like him, but when he's under pressure, and I think he will be, DeMarcus Lawrence, Randy Gregory's back, Neville Gallimore's back. This defense has been very consistent, and I don't think Washington can score enough.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm with you, Greg. I love the Heineke story. I don't see the Brett Favre comparisons. I'm going with the Cowboys here, 30-22. And what I'm zeroing in on this one is CeeDee Lamb. Now, the Washington football team is really, really good against the run. Like, great against the run. And that could help neutralize the Cowboys' running game. But where they're susceptible is in the pass game, getting to the quarterback. And that's where I think CeeDee Lamb really has a big game because he can do it all. I think he's actually underrated. He has great size, change of direction, can separate. You see him with the ball in his hands. He's in the return game. Like, I feel like he really is the X factor in this receiving core. And he's going to have a big game like he did a week ago against the Saints. That
play where he just made Marcus Williams, I think it was, miss, I stopped it and, like, rewound it and showed my family it Thanksgiving night, and they were like, we don't care.
Like, Dad, please.
This really wasn't that
Can we put on Paw Patrol? I was on the Cowboys, okay? I want to make that clear. This morning, up until our meeting, I was on the Cowboys. But give me another...
Change your pick.
Change your pick. 27-24
like it.
Washington football team. And I think,
back bones on
listen,
us?
call me crazy, but a lot of it has to do with this Mike McCarthy coming out and saying, we are winning this game. Okay, it's great to be confident and all that stuff, but the Cowboys have been wishy-washy. We don't know when to trust them, where to trust them, and Ron Rivera had the perfect comeback. He was just like, I don't really need to say things like that. I'm going to focus on my team and keep my head down. And he was saying people that do say these things are compensating for something. Something maybe going on for this in this locker room. Something maybe happening in this locker room that he feels like he needs to come out and be overly confident.
Next week, we'll see what his team thinks about it. Right?
Head down, focused on this game. Washington football team has stepped up. Defense, I'm all on the Taylor Heineke train.
He's compensating for a lack of talent by being classy, but the talent is what matters.
Next week, I'll be like John Harbaugh, he did for Jim Harbaugh, and be like, you know, he stuck up for him winning AP Coach of the Year, and he's like, he wouldn't say it, but in your face.
There
so
you
I'll
go.
be your in-your-face person.
Oh, okay. Well, bring it on. All right, next up, another great Monday nighter. Cardinals taking on the Rams. Arizona dominated L.A. in Week 4 with a total of 57 points were scored in that one. Who do you guys have in this one?
Like, the season would be more interesting to me if the Rams won this game, but the Cardinals have been the best team in the league all season. I am going with Arizona. It's because they can do everything on both sides of the ball. Defensively, we've talked talked a lot about him. We know about Kyler Murray, but they can also close out games, not just with James Conner, but with Kyler Murray running the ball. In a bad weather situation last week, Kyler Murray looked as spry and as healthy running as he has all year. Conner in that run blocking scheme, which I think Cliff Kingsbury does not get enough credit for. The last couple of years, you look at their running game, not with big names, they get it done. So in a close game, they've beaten a lot of great opponents. The Rams really haven't this year. I got to see it to pick them.
Hawk.
I'm going with the Cardinals, too. 28-27. It's my second time using that score. And it's as simple as this for me. It comes down to Kyler Murray versus Matt Stafford. No, they're not playing against each other, but as they go, their teams go, right? Like, you expect your franchise quarterback, your big players to show up big in big games. This is a huge game for both of these franchises. And the first time around, Kyler Murray was the one who looked like the borderline Hall of Famer. So Stafford's going to have to step up. I don't think he can do it enough because I do think Kyler Murray is the better of these two quarterbacks.
Ooh, I like that.
Well, now we're going to be 3 across here because I have the Cardinals 27-22. And we haven't talked about him enough this year, but y'all kind of know that, like, Buda Baker is one of, if not.
We haven't
mentioned him.
We haven't talked enough about Buda Baker. And I feel like in this matchup, people say words like Aaron Donald or Jalen Ramsey a lot. But you got to talk about Buda Baker, who is literally everywhere. He's maybe my favorite single safety. I told you like the Bills duo, but single, I think I'm going to go with Buda Baker. And I think that the different looks that he can line up in, the different confusion factor, I think that will be very helpful in what should be what I think is obviously here for me a pretty high scoring game. That's a 5-point margin.
I like it.
The model loves the Cardinals. The model's been ahead of the Cardinals all year.
The model loves the Cardinals.
I'm not that crazy. I'm not going
three
low net.
Meme
alert, making a meme alert. I'm going Cardinals 35-28 over the Rams. I feel like last week the Rams, that was their get-right game. They absolutely had to win that game. It didn't really show me anything. Matt Stafford had to play good in that game. Kyler Murray, however, was coming out of an injury, scored 2 passing touchdowns, 2 rushing touchdowns. He looked phenomenal. I will say I really like a lot of points scored in this one because back in week 4 there were a ton. 400 passing, 400 offense. I'm not even going to try. It was a lot, okay? There was a lot going on. Next on Game Day View, we are talking individual numbers and proper performances, so stick around.